Hello, my YouTube subscribers out there. Well, I'm back with another video. Inspiration struck me, and that is I want to talk about uh, creating sessions of critical thinking. As opposed to a lot of combat, this is a session that you could use uh, riddles and puzzles and things of that where you make your party sort of think their way out of something. One of my favorites, and I think it's a great um, team building session. Is there's a, and I have it here on the screen. I have a room. The players before they get to the room, the players come up to or the characters come up to a building and with a door, and they've got to figure out how to get inside the building. There are no windows. Usually they try the door first. The door's locked. There's always one that wants to try to break the door down, and I was like, go for it. When they do, they actually go to break the door down. When they hit the door they basically disappear, and they will go into a dark room. Where they can't see anything. So eventually, everyone gets inside this ante room, is what I'm going to call it. Now, while in the ante room, which is pitch black, no matter what their movements are, it seems as though they get nowhere. They can not create light, at least not in the whole room. They can create light just in a 5-foot radius around them. The darkness itself sort of absorbs that light. When they call out to anyone, no one else can hear them. This sort of darkness sort of absorbs everything. And there's a certain phrase they have to say, or someone has to say, and it's actually on the outside of the building. So when they come into the inside, they have to say the phrase, and then the lights come on. So when they're in the anteroom is full of bookshelves and two doorways, the main entrance, and then one that goes into another hallway. Usually on the bookshelves, I usually put boxes and things of that where they can find small items, but they have to find 4 keys. The door that goes into the other hallway has 4 different locks on it. Now, there's also a statue in the room, and in that statue, or on that statue, is a necklace with uh, a sort of stone with a a triangular hole in the middle of it, and it's on this chain. The statue can be, I usually make it my character, Soren, my halfling wizard. Uh, I usually put his statue in there, and then he has on his belt, he has a key ring that's empty. So they have to find the 4 keys, and the whole point of the room is for them to figure out whether they're supposed to unlock the door or what. And what they're supposed to do is supposed to get all their 4 keystones and 4 keys. Each key matches up to a keystone. Keystone with the triangular hole. The key has a triangular stone at the end. The one with the round hole has a round stone. The one with the square has a square. And then the one with like an octagonal shape has an octagonal stone. And then most of the players, they think that, oh, we have to like put these in the door and do this. So a lot of times they'll try to like unlock the door. Every time they try to unlock the door themselves, the door will kick them back, and they'll take a little bit of damage, not a lot, but it basically kicks them back a few feet, and it throws the keys and the stones as well. So a lot of times they'll go and they'll put the stones in the door, which it lets them do. Put the keys in the door, which it lets them do. But the minute they turn the keys, they get knocked back and the keys fall to the floor and the stones fall to the floor. The solution is they have to put the stones on the necklace around the statue and the keys on the keychain on the statue. And a lot of times they don't see these 2 elements until like way late into the session, which is quite fun. They get so frustrated. But in the boxes, I put all kinds of like gems and gold pieces and potions and things of that nature, just so they can get something out of the room, but they have to try to figure it out. So once they put the stones and the keys on, then The statue basically comes to life and hover. The lights actually go out. Sorry, the lights go to black again. Then they come back up, and the statue's in the center of the room, kind of hovering, and it's sort of moving and alive. The character comes to life, tells them a little bit of a riddle, which will help them in the next room. And then he is the one that unlocks the door. And then when the door opens, it goes into a hallway. Now, the picture I have on the screen right now is on the right-hand side of the screen here. Right there, you can see there's a double door there. That double door comes out of the room into this hallway. And they can go either way. There's a door at the end of each of these. Sometimes I like to split up. The doors are, for the most part, are unlocked, so they can just go in. When they go in, once you get your entire party in, then they can start looking. Well, they'll start looking around. Now, in this room, I'll start here at the top area first. You can see that's a painting on the wall. Directly across from that painting are 3 columns. Now, on these columns are these sort of mirrors, and I'll kind of draw them a little bit here. They're sort of curved mirrors. Sort of like this. And they're like on hinges. So they can actually manipulate them. They can turn them and move them and things of that nature. So I'll just sort of like, they're kind of like on hinges attached to these columns. I'll just do that just so you can kind of see them. In front of them is 2 plinths. This plinth here has a opening at the top, like a hole, like something's supposed to sit down inside of it or something. And then the one in front of that has a large red stone sort of growing out of the top of this column plinth. And then over on the right-hand side is what looks like a kind of Gothic-y style cathedral window, but it's completely full of, it's just bricked over. So the first thing they try to do immediately is to go over here and move these plinths. It's so funny. And I'm like, nothing moves. Nothing will pull from the floor, nothing of that nature. Now, as they look around, they usually go to this painting on this wall. This painting is reactive, meaning if they try to take it off the wall or they attack it, they touch it in any way, it would literally pull them out of this room. They disappear. The people on this side of the room just see them vanish. And I'll get to where they go in a minute. So that usually one goes, and then the others are like, oh goodness, what's going on here? So around the room, there are scribblings on the walls. You can put in whatever language you want. On this back wall, and I have all the paperwork and stuff for this, but all the sayings on the walls basically tell them what they need to do. There is a saying on the window area that doesn't necessarily have to do with the puzzle part of the room. It's its own kind of riddle. So when they touch the painting or attack the painting and whatever, the painting actually pulls them into it. The painting is a picture of this room, as if you were looking at it. If you were turning at the painting and you turn towards the room, you're looking at the room, and that's what the painting is. So when they go to look at the painting after someone's disappeared, they'll notice that there's a blurry figure in the painting now. So when that person's turn comes back around, they find out that they have been pulled into an alternate reality room. It's basically the exact same room, except it's completely opposite. There is a painting of the room, and then they can actually see however many players are on the other side. They see these little blurry figures. And then the 3 columns, the 2 plinths, they're all there. The only thing that's not on the other side is this window. It's the only thing. And on the other side, in the other room, there are riddles and sayings as well. One of the ones on the other side is Mirror Mirror, and I usually put it in either Draconic or Elvish, but you could put it in whatever language you want. Uh, and so basically, they have to figure out that they have to put the equal amount of people in each room. They have to put a light source. It has to be the same light source. So if they use fire, like a torch, then both sides have to use a torch. Or if someone of them uses light magic, then the ones in the alternate room have to use a light magic as well. So once they do that, once they get equal people on either side, put them in the positions, they have to stand in the same positions as the people on the other side. They have to light everything the same, and then once they do that, once they move the mirrors to focus the light onto the stone will shoot a beam to the painting. Now, once that happens, a portal will open, and then they have to decide which side of this they're supposed to be on. But once they realize it's this side here, the others will come through, and once they do that, once one person passes through, the portal starts to get smaller. So as each person passes through this portal, it destabilizes it basically. So they have got to get everybody through, and the DM can decide that. You can like roll a die and see if everyone gets through in time, or you can let them roll something, a percentile, to see what percentage of a chance they have of getting through the hole, and all that. So once you have everybody back on that side, then they've got to figure out the window here, and there's a poem on it. And basically, what it tells them to do is they need to draw blood and write the password in blood on the stones. And when they do that, the stones get hot. They turn white hot until it's just white light inside this window. And then they've just got to walk through. And a lot of times it takes them forever to figure out. They just need to walk through. And then that portal can take them anywhere you want them to go. Excuse me. So it's a lot of fun, and it will last a whole session. Because it's, especially if you have players who are not very good at riddles, it's quite fun to watch them. But I've done this as a complete session before, and I give them experience points, pretty high experience points for this room, depending on how well they solve it or how fast they solve it. But usually it takes them an entire session. And if it doesn't take the entire session, then when they walk through the window, it usually goes into another room, and then they have to kind of fight somebody. And the other room is here as well. It's this room right here. It's here. Let me There we go. In this room, this is where the window comes into this room here. This wall can move. There's on the desk somewhere, there's a password or instructions on how to make the wall open. The wall opens. This fireplace over here is in front of this doorway here, so they don't see it like that. And I usually have that darked out, and they have to figure out how to do this, how to open this up. And usually I have little fire elemental things come out, and they have to fight those guys. But yeah, so you give them something to do. But if they solve it in enough time for you to do that. But usually it takes them a while, not only to get out of the ante room, plus to get out of this room. But it's really fun, and it really kind of helps build character relationships, because they kind of have to rely on one another pretty heavily in this one. So yeah, but if you ever want to do something where you don't have a lot of combat and you want to kind of get your players and characters to kind of get to know each other, this is a great idea. And I highly recommend it. And if you're interested in this particular room, you can just reach out to me, and I can send you the materials for it, because there's all of the sayings and all that. I can send that to you, and you can kind of see how the room is set up. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So every once in a while, throw them in a room and make them try to get out of it. it's quite fun to watch as a DM, and it helps your characters kind of build that. All right, well, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.